All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Update, my 1000 Day Challenge. This is day 224. So let's get things started. All right, so first and foremost, you'll notice that the balance is down from yesterday. And what I mentioned, it was actually due to a two trade that was closed for both Ethereum and Link in terms of the experimental trade setup. So I'm like back to a couple of days, but actually even a little bit less due to the cost of the trade and stuff like that. So that's something to always bear in mind. Other than that, the main trading account still remains in position. Overall, things still look to be bullish, although tentatively later-wise, I'll talk about short-term-wise, we could face some sort of retracement and pullback. And I also talk about the similarity between the traditional financial market along with what Bitcoin is experiencing right now as well. So yeah, all right, so the balance is updated over here. Otherwise, you will check that the bullish market structure actually transited all of them into the bullish market structure on the daily chart. There's something very significant to notice of. But if you do notice, S&P 500 has hit close to the all-time high, but didn't close above. The previous highest close was 3950.4, and we actually only closed, wait a minute, this one we closed at 3932.6. And here we close at 3939.3. So technically we did close above the previous all-time high. So yeah, okay, that's something I didn't notice. I was just looking at the candlestick itself. But that aside, so potentially we could have somewhat like a double top formation. And yeah, so let's just remove this upslope trend line. I mean, this parallel channel, but otherwise we could potentially be seeing a double top. But bear in mind that what could potentially happen, especially the stimulus, is that we could consolidate over here shortly and then break towards the upside or the downside, in my opinion. Of course, we could always just blast off through this previous top like we did over here. A little bit of a blast through, but then we retrace and then we continue towards the upside. So this is what I would think that is more likely to happen. Or we could have somewhat like this, whereby we have somewhat like a double top and then we retrace, find somewhere at a higher low before we go up to higher high as well. So just retrieve this as well. So generally, I don't like slope trend line because it really gets affected in terms of using log chart or using linear chart. And yeah, and it's highly subjective because of where you start at in terms of the week, in terms of the body and stuff like that. So yeah, besides that, basically, otherwise, we could see potential retracement in this perspective of a double top formation. And over on Nasdaq, we also have a much stronger pull, what do you call that, a bounce. But unlike the S&P 500, we haven't touched the previous high yet. So it's without a doubt that tech is facing a larger sell-off, but that's definitely a great thing for me in terms of adding in terms of my position as well. All right, so I would say that right now, oddly enough, Bitcoin is actually emulating almost same as S&P 500 and forming a double top formation. So for now, I'll just keep so you can see it potentially like one step ahead of S&P 500 and we are forming like the next day. So let's see how things goes and whether does S&P follow Bitcoin or Bitcoin follow S&P 500. So it's like a chicken and egg kind of thing. And yeah, for ASHR, things looks to be bouncing a little bit better now. And similarly for KREP, we are facing the same thing, a very strong bounce. That's why it's a very strong sell-off. I bought quite a bit over here and also a bit over here as well. So generally, when I see a large sell-off in this kind of zigzag pattern is where I will be more willing to add, because even if they were to continue to fall low, tentatively, they tend to be somewhat like a dead cat bounce kind of price action. So of course, it's a risky play, but I don't see it as a very high risk place, especially if you don't use excessive leverage or you don't use leverage at all. And secondly, if you are going for long, so technically you do have a cap loss in that sense, even if nobody were to buy anything back from you. All right, so in converse to say perhaps a short position whereby you have unlimited loss or risk in that sense. All right, so for Bitcoin wise, so right away my background because I already pause those things, but otherwise, yeah, the Bitcoin wise, potentially we could see a double top formation. Probably something is running in terms of the background. I'm probably going to take a look in terms of the checking of the technical side of things. Yeah, because actually I just gotten the new doc itself, so I don't think it should affect the technical wise, but of course I'm having one additional screen on the side, which you do not see over here. But yeah, so technically no change in terms of the daily chart itself. Like I mentioned, there's a potential double top. And on the 4-hour chart itself, we're still looking strong. We're making higher lows and higher high technically. even though potentially we could have some sort of retracement, we do close below here sharply, then yeah, I'll potentially look to close out the trade and take profit for this remainder. So you could end up be taking about the same kind of level of profit, or it could be taking a little bit more. But if it does drop through strong support, closes above, then potentially we could continue towards the upside as well. So yeah, so bear this in mind, and yeah, otherwise that's more or less about it. This trade still remains valid. Trade within this 20 exponential average on the 4-hour chart. Otherwise, that's more or less about it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.